I had no idea that this was going to happen, but it seems that what Richard has had to say in the past half hour has touched people and rung bells with some people already, and we'll be hearing from them before we get to 11 o'clock on the show today. 8 minutes to 11. The latest on North Yorkshire's roads coming up in about 3 minutes' time. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jim, who is on the line. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Not so bad, thank you, sir.
Good. I'll take my hat off to Richard for opening up the phone, well, civil service, but also to Richard for opening up the phone lines and starting the debate off today. With haemophiliacs was infected. Within my family, I've got 3 members of my family, one which is infected with HIV and hepatitis C and Christ knows what else. 2 uncles that was infected with hepatitis C. One went on to get liver cancer and unfortunately passed away some time ago now. So as you can imagine, in my family, it's been absolutely devastating. Having a father infected with the HIV virus and hepatitis C, and being put on the at-risk register of variant CJD, believe it or not.
A whole panoply of things. I'm told that you're not even in North Yorkshire.
I'm not. No, I used to live in Yorkshire. I'm not. For obvious reasons, I don't want to say too much about where I'm from.
Sure, but you can't even hear us on the radio today.
Online, yes. Yeah, I'm listening online.
You're listening online?
I used to live in Yorkshire, and I do tune in every so often.
Right. Well, that's really good that we've sort of touched base with you. So your family then has been another.
My family's been absolutely devastated. Let me tell you. There's a couple of things that I wanted to get across that Richard was talking about. Firstly, with regards to the waivers that people had to sign, people with these infections in 1991 took a lawsuit out against the government. The reason why the government give our families such poor compensation or ex gratia payments was that all the paperwork, all the minutes of the recordings of the meetings and everything else was all shredded. There was nothing left. The Department of Health, we've got evidence to say, the Department of Health searched high and low for paperwork. And that paperwork had gone. A junior member of House of Commons or House of Parliament had shredded it in a mistake. Well, we find out about 10 years ago-ish that all this paperwork has suddenly reappeared after the haemophiliacs signed the waivers. Through the Freedom of Information Act, we've got lots and lots of evidence, whereas that's where evidence has come from. Ignoring warnings as early as 1970, I'm reading here now, the World Health Organization wrote to our Department of Health and warned them not to use blood products that was imported from America. That obviously come from Skid Row, they come from drug addicts, they come from people on death row, people on the street, prostitutes. They couldn't use the product in their country. Because they'd lose so much money, people used to get paid to donate their blood. Because they would lose so much money, they shipped all these blood products all around Europe to get rid of it, to earn money from this blood, which they knew, we have it in black and white, they knew that was infected.
Jim, can I just ask you to just bear with me a second while we do our travel news?
Of course.
I want to hear you out and to hear everything you have to say, but if we just break there for a second.
Breakfast.
BBC Radio York.
Back with Jim, not in North Yorkshire, but listening online and listening to our discussion about how the contaminated blood disaster of the 70s and 80s has affected families where haemophilia is a problem. Can I just ask you, Jim, this is I'm ahead of asking naive questions today.
No, you go ahead.
But in the past, when drugs or medical products have done harm to people, those people, either as individuals or as pressure groups, have sued the companies that supplied the drugs or the products. You've talked about sort of reaching a deal, and perhaps a very poor deal, that tied your hands with the National Health Service back in the early 1990s, this waiver. Did the haemophiliacs who'd been affected and their families, their survivors, their widows, did they not think of suing the companies in America who had supplied this concentrate in the first place?
I believe some of them have tried, and some of them have failed. There is something going through at the moment to the American courts, but it is surrounded in so much red tape that is absolutely unbelievable. But keep in mind, this isn't just Britain. This was a worldwide catastrophe. I mean, we've got loads, as I said, we've got loads and loads and loads of documents from the Freedom of Information Act, which I would say the government have said they regret even ever bringing the Freedom of Information Act into play. I mean, just the other day, 2 or 3 days ago, we was handed another document which says, let me just get through it, that within vials of factor 8, which was, as we just said, are the factor which is missing in haemophiliacs, they found charred paper in a vial of factor 8. Rather than wiping the lot from the shelf because it was contaminated, for want of a better word, with charred paper, they considered using it. And that was in 1994. The information I've got on my screen here.
Jim, we're going to have to stop any second because we've got to get to our 11 o'clock news, 11 o'clock. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Well, yeah, just that my family's been infected in a big way. Currently, my father with the HIV virus gets £12,800 per annum because he can't work. Well, I'd say to the government, my father is worth a lot more than £12,800 per annum. And if we don't get justice this time, we will continue fighting until my dying day, because my father's worth a lot more than this.
Are you going to be at the House of Commons?
You try and stop me.
Right. Good to speak to you. Thank you very much indeed for contacting us. And,
Thank you very much.
Very best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And to your dad. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Jim calling from outside North Yorkshire, listening online and feeling you needed to take part in the discussion. I understand others have to feel that they have to take part as well. More than happy to hear from you wherever you may be, listening online or listening over the radio in York or North Yorkshire. It's 01904 641 641, or you can text in on 81333. Don't forget your text message these days has to begin, please, with the word York. Thank you very much indeed to those people who know my previous guest, Richard Warwick, those people who've called in over the last few minutes, having heard him on air, to say what a lovely man he is and what a devoted sort of servant of the community is. He just does lots of things for other people. So, Richard, you have a bit of a fan club out there, whether you knew it or not. More calls and comments from people whose lives have also been affected by the contaminated blood crisis. We'll hear from more of them before we're done.